Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we will see the difference between useCallback, useMemo and React.memo. So these are the performance optimization technique we use in React.js. And also this is very common interview question. So interviewer might ask you to write some code and explain how we can use the useCallback, useMemo and React.memo in real life project. So please watch this video till end so you'll get clear idea about how we can use in real project. So very first we will create counter variable, and that we will put in our parent component, and then we'll create child component. Then there we will write some logic to get the name from the user. So very first we'll create one count state here. Initially we will have 1, and then we will have one more state which hold the name value, set name. So this name we use in child component, so that we have to implement the use callback. So for this scenario it will help. So initially we will have empty. So now what we'll do is we will create one button here, and we'll give name increment. So here we'll increment the count. So here we have on click event here, handle count. We'll define this function here, const handle count equal to, so we will have this arrow function, and then once we clicked, we will increase count by 1 plus 1, and then we will write this count here. Yeah, something like this. So let's see, here we got count equal to 1. So if we increase, that count is increasing as expected. So now what we'll do is we will create one child component here. So in the child component, we'll write input box, and then we will try to set name from that input box. So here I'm creating child.jsx. So here we have created child component. So we will import this child component here. So here I'm importing. We have imported child component here. So now what we'll do is we'll write some input box here, so that we can have some name here. So here I will have input box, and here value is something we'll give later. So before that, we have to pass this name and say, name value from here to set this name. So we'll write one more function, const handle name, and there we will have set name equal to something. As of now, I'll give empty there. So we have to pass this name here as a props to this child component, set name, and then we have to accept this both prop here in the child component. So this is how we accept it, name, and then we will give this name here, and here we will have on change event handle name. So now what we'll do is we will try to print this name here. So let me print it here. I'll just copy paste this one. So we are passing this handle name to the parent component through callback, and here this handle name, it will have e here. It will accept event, and then we can set the name here, e dot target dot value. Yeah, it's perfectly working. So now I want to tell you the behavior of like how parent and child component render. So simply I'll write here console.log parent rendered, and then same thing I'll do here in child render. So just look at this console. When we increase some value from here, 3, 4, 5, parent is rendering as well as child also rendering. That is expected because we have this child component here. So whenever this parent will whenever this parent component is rendered, this child component will get re-rendered. So now here we are not changing any name, but still child is getting re-rendered. So that is extra re-render. So like we have to prevent this child rendering. So now what we'll do is, for this one we have this React.memo. So we have to wrap our whole component in React.memo, React.memo, and then we can have this component here. We have to import this React from React. So simply import React from React. Auto imported. Yeah. So whenever we increased the number, counter number, the parent is rendering as well as child is re-rendering. So child should not re-render, right? Because React.memo will stop the re-rendering if there is no change in props coming from here. So name is not changing. Handle names we are receiving, but there is trick here. So whenever this parent component re-render, so every time this handle name function recreate, so it will be considered as a brand new functions, and then this brand new function will we are passing it here as a props. So it goes here in child component. So the child component will consider this. So handle name is brand new function and that is recreated. So it will think that this function is changed, and that's why it will re-render this component if it find any changes in props. To handle this type of scenario, we use callback. So what callback will do is, callback will memorize the function. So next time when child re-render, so it will memorize that previous version of that function, and then it will send here as a like same old function. And when this function come here, the child will consider this no, this function is not changed or not recreated. So let's see. So as of now it was printing this parent as well as child. So what we'll do is, we'll try to wrap this handle name function into the callback, into the use callback. So let's see the magic here. This use callback, and then we'll put this first argument as this function, and then second argument name. So recreate these functions whenever there is change in this name. Yeah, now I'll try to write name here. Parent as well as child is getting rendered as expected. So we are changing name it from here. It is coming here. So whenever we try to modify some name, so it will recreating, and then this is getting called, and parent is rendering as well as this child is rendering. So that's why we are able to see this name Gajanan. So now what we'll do is, I'll just refresh it. So now I'll increase counter. Just look at here in the console. See, I'm increasing. The child is not getting rendered. So in case of count, so this is not getting recreated. So when it come here in child components, so the child component will think that, yeah, this is old this is an old function, and it is not recreated, and even name is not changed. So that's why it will not re-render this one. So this is how use callback is useful to avoid unnecessary re-rendering. So I hope you understood these two concepts, React.memo and use callback. So now we are seeing useMemo. So let's see here. I'll just remove this parent re-render, and from here child re-render. We don't need this one. So before writing code, so we'll see the definition of useMemo. useMemo will return the memorized value. So it will only run when there is something change in that value. For example, there is one functions and which have some expensive calculations, and then function is getting called on every state change. So in that case, we have to avoid that function call on every state change. So let's see cost expensive function. Here we will have for loop. I'll just run this for loop till some 1000 here, and then this for loop will do nothing. And then what we'll do is, so basically we will try to find out the square of this count number. So here we can provide num here, and then just we can have return num into num. And now we will have const calculated square equal to expensive function, and then here we'll pass count. Then simply we will have square here. We'll just copy this one, and then we'll have calculated square. Now we have the square 1. So I'm increasing 2, 3. So this is quite fast. Now I'll increase 0 by 1. This is, refresh it. This is also quite fast. Let me increase by 1. And now I'll increase. So this increment button is getting freeze for 1 second. If I'm not able to type anything. So if I do something like this, even if I type my name, see, I'm typing, it is not because every time this function is getting called. So this is very irritating. Square is completely depend on this increment button. So when we increase, the count will get increased, and then we'll get the square. That is completely fine. But when we type my name, yeah, it is getting freeze. That is not expected, right? So every time this is getting called, even when we change this name, to avoid these type of situations, we use useMemo. So simply what we have to do is, I'll just refresh it. So we have to put this expensive function is useMemo. So this is how we write the syntax. Here we'll return this expensive function, and then we'll write dependency count. So only this expensive function should get called when there is something change in this count. Let me run this one. Let me increase this. Yeah, I increased by 1, and it is freezing for 1 second. That is completely fine, because this square is depend on this increment button. Now when we change this name, see, so I am able to type without any disturbance. Why? Because this function is not getting call on every state change. It will only call when there is some change in count. So this is how we use useMemo. Using useMemo here, so we have improved performance of our application. Initially it was freezing even though when we type name here. This is how we can optimize performance of our applications using React.memo, useMemo, and useCallback. So these are the performance optimization techniques. So interviewer might ask you to write some code and explain how we can optimize the performance. So in that case, you can take this example and then you can explain. So I hope you understood the concept behind this optimization technique. If you like this video, then please do subscribe to my channel for support. Thank you.